Hot Mic is brought to you by Red Wing Shoes of Fargo. Built to last. 3003 Main Avenue, Fargo.
Hot Mic with Dom Izzo.
Really? Really, Dom?
No. I like what Dom's doing.
Okay.
Dom Izzo.
Jeez, come on, Dom. What do you think I am, a magician?
Yeah, I'm fired up, Dom. What else could I say?
Absolutely. It was great to get on the field, and then Dom came up to me, and I'm trying to walk away from me. I just wanted to enjoy myself out there.
Hot Mic.
Great job.
There's got to be some kind of intelligent question about something.
Coach Dom Izzo, WDAY in Fargo, North Dakota.
Can you give me a layup or something?
Hot Mic. Presented by Northwestern Mutual.
That program is second to none.
On the networks of WDAY.
You know, if it's not about sports, I find it very hard to concentrate.
Here's Dom Izzo.
Good morning, and we start our show with history last night in the NBA. Not normally a thing we'd start with, but when a guy drops 83 points in a game, that's what you got to do. Bam Adebayo became the player with the second most points in an NBA game in history. He had 36 made free throws on 43 attempts, both NBA records last night for the Miami Heat as they were playing the Washington Wizards in a game that some may lament in terms of how the game played out or if Adebayo is going and chasing points. He is second only now to Wilt Chamberlain, of course, who scored 100 points in a game back in 1962. Adebayo broke Kobe Bryant's record that was set back in 2006. Kobe scored 81 that night. His final numbers, these are just staggering here, as you see a couple of the free throws there that got him closer to the record. Again, 36 of 43 from the foul line, 20 of 43 from the field, 7 of 22 from three-point range. A stat line unlike any other in NBA history. Of course, Wilt did his 100 before the three-point line ever even came around. 83 for Bam Adebayo last night for the Miami Heat. And with that, we say good morning and welcome to Hot Mic here on a Hump Day Wednesday. Great to be with everybody. You're back in studio on this Hump Day Wednesday as we get set for another tournament week. Ready to roll. Our crew is heading out for Bismarck later today and the State AA tournament back at the Event Center starting tomorrow. We'll give you the full details on that. We'll preview it coming up on our second hour of the show. So we'll check in one of the teams out in Bismarck as the WDA had a heck of a year and they think they've got the stuff to win a championship this year. Of course, Century is the defending champs. They're back. They're beat up. Bismarck is loaded again for Bear. We'll preview all that coming up later on in the show. A lot to get to today, including NFL free agency officially begins today. I know we've had the tampering period for the last 2 days, but now it actually gets going. So we'll discuss that. As any news breaks, the Vikings could be in the market for a quarterback. If they do, we'll tell you about that. Any other signings that potentially could come down the pipe, we'll fill you in on that later in the show. Also, coming up later on, if you wanted to know, we know now the Bison football schedule, how it came about. You'll find out how NDSU did this in a month, which is unbelievable, frankly, because I think we sat here once we found out the Mountain West was official on how they were going to do it, and now here it is on March 11th after the move was announced on February 9th. So literally a little over a month, and the Bison have a football schedule, which is crazy. We'll get into that coming up later on in the show. We've also got a bunch of questions asked on what's going to happen with the Bison women's basketball team. We will try and decipher that, knowing they're fully on the NCAA bubble after the loss to South Dakota State on Sunday in the Summit League Championship game. And all projections right now have the Bison as one of the first 4 teams out of the tournament. We'll discuss that coming up later on in the show. Now, we featured it on What to Watch yesterday, and I don't blame anybody if you didn't make it to even halftime of the game of the Wolves last night with the Lakers. A 10 o'clock Central Time tip against the LeBron-less Lakers, and it appears not only if you didn't stay to the game, the Wolves didn't come to the game, because this is one of the rare highlight clips when I was looking through it. There are no Wolves highlights to show, because that's the kind of night it was. Started out okay, and then after that, Luka was playing. Again, the Lakers apparently are great when one of their big 3 doesn't play, whether it's Austin Reeves, LeBron, or Luka Doncic, who is patterned that with the fadeaway bank shot, evidently. Puts the Lakers up by 6. Later in the third, Austin Reeves through contact and the foul puts LA up by 10. Third quarter, they start pulling away. Again, the Wolves starters were just bad last night. That's the only way to say it. Lakers got up by as many as 20. Austin Reeves' little fadeaway is good. LA goes on and beats Minnesota 120 to 106. Anthony Edwards, 2 of 15 from the field last night. The Wolves starters, listen to this. Randall had just 14. Jaden McDaniels, 6. Rudy had 3. Dante had 8. Ant had 14. That is about as bad a night as it's been for the Wolves all season long. Ayo Dosunmu had 13 off the bench. Nas had 13, but it was not a great night for the Wolves. This compounded after they got blown out by Orlando on Saturday at home before they started this road trip. So you'll remember a week ago they got as high up to 3rd in the Western Conference standings. Now they sit 5th, tied with the Lakers, who just beat them, a half game behind the Rockets for 3rd. With Denver just a game back of both Minnesota and L.A. No time to wallow in this for the Wolves. They got to play right again tonight at the Intuit Dome against the Clippers. You can see where L.A. is right now in the 8th spot in the Western Conference. Not great last night. It just seemed like, I don't know if it was a team that was disinterested or wasn't ready to play. Whatever. It was not the best night for Minnesota in their game with the Lakers. So we'll see what happens tonight if it's a better effort against a Clippers team that is what they are. They're hovering around 500 right now. Last thing before we get the show off and rolling. So I had not necessarily paid attention yet to the first few days of the World Baseball Classic. I was obviously busy with what's going on in Sioux Falls, and the tournament began, and was going to get into it as we got longer here, as we got near the end of the round robin and then into the knockout round. So I watched a little bit on Monday night of the United States-Mexico game. The United States won to get to 3-0 as they're playing 4 round robin games, and then it's on to the elimination stage. So the final game of the round robin last night was against the Italians. Figuring, all right, well, this will be another walk in the park. I mean, this USA team, everybody decided to play. After 2023, when the United States lost against Japan in the final, they brought out all their heavy hitters. Aaron Judge is playing on this team, right? I mean, you've got the best lineup imaginable for the United States facing the Italians, who have got some guys against my dude. Nolan McLean was the starter for the Americans from the New York Mets and gave up a couple home runs. Jack Caglione with a 2-run shot. Italy built an 8-1 lead on the Americans. Pete Crow Armstrong, who plays center field for the Chicago Cubs. Why can't the Mets get players like him? He was a Met prospect they traded for Javi Baez. Never let that down. It's a 3-run shot. It's 8-4. Roman Anthony, who's going to be a fantastic player for the Boston Red Sox. That's a base hit. Drives in a run. Now it's 8-5 in the 8th inning. Bottom of the 9th. PCA back up again. His second home run of the game. Americans aren't done yet. It's 8-6. Americans get a runner on. Aaron Judge is at the plate. 2 outs, bottom of the 9th. He's the tying run at the plate, but he strikes out, and Italy pulls off a massive upset. They beat the Americans 8-6, the final score. So now, here's the setup here for those that haven't paid attention to this. Italy plays Mexico today. If the Italians win that game, that means the United States would get through because the top 2 teams in each pool advance to the knockout stage. But if Mexico beats Italy by 4 runs or less, then the Americans are out and Mexico and Italy move on to the elimination stage, which that would not go over well with the framework of this tournament that was counting on a likely Japan-USA rematch. Remember, we had that scene 3 years ago in Miami where it was Ohtani against Trout in the bottom of the ninth inning. Ohtani got the strikeout, and the Japanese team won. We are on the threshold here of potentially the Americans not even making it into the medal round, into the elimination round. So here's again the tiebreakers, how it will work. And the Mexicans play the Italians this afternoon. If Italy beats Mexico, Italy would win the pool at 4-0, and Team USA would finish second at 3-1. If Mexico beats Italy and Mexico scores 5 runs or more in 9 innings, Mexico and the United States would advance. But here's how they could be eliminated. If Mexico beats Italy and scores 4 or fewer runs in 9 innings, Mexico and Italy would then advance. It's making the rounds now. Team USA manager Mark DeRosa, former Cardinal great, said yesterday on television that they already had their spot sewn up in the quarterfinals. That was not correct. I don't know if that affected how the lineup was constructed yesterday or how they played. You got to give credit to the Italians for what they did, but now they're sitting there. They're done. They can only sit there and watch to see what will happen. The Italian team was certainly motivated to play yesterday. We'll see if they have that same motivation today. So if you're following this at all and have time later today, again, if the Mexico team scores 4 runs or less, the United States is out if they win. If Italy wins, then it's straight up. Italy and the United States are moving on because Mexico's already lost to Team USA. So, again, I know maybe the amount of people paying attention to this skyrocketed last night after the United States lost and then figured out, wait a minute, they don't have enough advance to go on. We'll see. This is my favorite email from a viewer of the show. Dom, in fairness to the United States team, the lineup for Italy was pretty solid. Tommy Lasorda is the manager, Joe DiMaggio, Yogi Berra, Mike Piazza, Craig Biggio, Phil Rizzuto, Tony Lazzari, Anthony Rizzo, Joey Votto, and Jason Giambi. Yeah, that's not who they trotted out there last night. And yet they whooped the American team. I mean, again, it was 8-1 at one point last night. This is the United States had as its batting order. Bobby Witt Jr., Gunnar Henderson, Aaron Judge, Kyle Schwarber, Will Smith, Roman Anthony, Paul Goldschmidt, Bryce Harper pinch hit and struck out in the game. Ernie Clement, Bryce Terang pinch hit, and then PCA. Who are the major leaguers on the Italian roster? Well, you saw David Festa pitched, twin great. Jack Caglione, Vinny Pasquantino, former Kansas City Royal great. Dominic Canzone, who plays, I believe, for the Mariners. Who pitched yesterday? Michael Lorenzen, former Kansas City Royal and Detroit Tiger, Philadelphia Philly. I mean, they're not trotting out regular major leaguers that were able to whoop the Americans yesterday. And now they got to sit and wait and hope. This tournament they were building up like it's going to be the springboard to the Olympic Games. They're going to have the major leaguers in there, and the United States may not even be in the elimination round. Not great. We have a packed Wednesday show on tap for us here. Our guest lineup is brought to us by Northwestern Mutual. Coming up in just a few minutes, our guy Drew Trafton will join us. It's NFL free agency underway. Lots happening, including Trey Hendrickson's got a deal. We'll chat about that coming up at 9:20. 9:35, special Wednesday appearance from our guy Mike McFeely. We were loaded yesterday with Polisic and Dave Richmond, so Mike gives us a special Wednesday appearance, which will be fun. That's coming up at 9:35. Our second hour will be led off by Jason Horner, head coach of the Bismarck Legacy Sabres. They're back at state for the first time since 2024. They got a matchup with West Fargo. We'll preview that coming up at 10 o'clock. And at 10:35, Todd Phelps will join us, NDSU's Deputy Athletic Director, on how the Bison football schedule came about. He's the man who put it all together. And also chat about the Bison women's postseason hopes around the WBIT. We'll get you updated on that because that could be a distinct possibility for the Bison women. So that's coming up at 10:35. That and a heck of a lot more here on a busy Wednesday show. We'll take our first commercial break. We come back. Drew will join us. NFL free agency heating up. My guy Geno Smith is back with the Jets. That's coming up when Hot Mike returns here on this Wednesday morning. We're back after this.
The biggest Seahawks, Sounders, and Mariners fan in the FM area. It's time for Views with Drew.
Dominic Canzone delivering for the Italians yesterday?
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
Huh? Like everybody expected it to happen,
Mariners,
right?
Yeah. You know, I just want to say, okay, I mean, I get I'm going to put my soccer hat on just for a second here, okay? Like if maybe this is an opportunity for all of us to give the U.S. men's national team just a little bit of grace, you know, on the international stage, on the world sport that we're always hard on them. Like they can't make it past the, second round or after the, knockout round, the round of 16. Like, what's the deal? Why can't we compete in soccer? The World Baseball Classic is 95% Americans, okay? Like split up into all these different countries' rosters. And we can't build a roster in a sport that we invented to get into the knockout stage? Like, are you kidding me? Like, let's give those guys who are playing the world's game a little bit of a break here when they're competing against 209 other nations.
Fair enough.
To get to the final 32 and beyond. And we're like saying like, hey, let's pump the brakes a bit.
Totally. There's nothing I can rebut to that.
You can't rig the World Baseball Classic to get to the knockout round?
I think they tried. Like they put the United States in with Great Britain, Brazil, Italy,
it's our tournament,
and Mexico.
The only country that should have any business beating you is Japan. Like that's the only country.
The Dominicans are really good. Dominicans and Venezuelans are both
they're good.
very,
very good.
very good.
That's
and
fair.
Puerto Rico's pretty good. I'll push back on
let's say
those.
The semifinal then.
I would agree with that. Yes,
for the United States of America.
Not making it out of the group stage is not in their plans. You could hear Joe Davis and John Smoltz on the game call last night.
Yeah.
Like, this is not good for what we wanted.
What are we
We're
doing?
fully expecting them to move on.
I mean, I don't even care about the World Baseball Classic.
You know what? You're not the minority, and actually, a lot of people are waking up this morning saying, "What? A tournament that we run? We could not advance out of."
Like look at the rosters.
I know
It's all Americans. There are no Israelis playing. Are you kidding me?
It's not great. Not good. Now, honestly, and the emailer said that the Italian lineup had Yogi Berra, Joe DiMaggio.
Very funny. Very funny. Very good.
That is not who the Italians were trotting out there last night.
That is hilarious.
Not ideal. So we'll see what happens for that. Not that I'm sure a lot of people are going to tune in for Italy, Mexico later today on that. Yeah. You brought up a great point, though, in the break, because that's happening. Bam Adebayo goes for 83 last night, and on my timeline, it was there, but it was blown up with the Max Crosby deal that got nixed by the Ravens. And then today I've blown with Trey Hendrickson signing with the Ravens
and
everything else. And then everything right. When with free agency happening going, it just NFL says
No, we're
back.
We're gonna take this moment. The NBA has the second best scoring performance
in
of
the
all
history
time.
of the game.
The USA is crumbling at its own game. Baseball, the national pastime, and yet a failed trade sets off this bomb on social media that just dominates the evening.
Look, two things on this. Would he come back to the Raiders?
I can't see it. Like, how do you repair that relationship? Here's what I think's going to happen there. Like, the Raiders are going to say, Spytek's going to say, like, yeah, well, he's going to play for us. Like, if we don't get the deal we're looking for, he's going to play for us. No, it's not. Like, they might not trade him today. Like, they might not trade him before free agency, but I bet draft night, I bet he gets moved at the latest, or down the line in the summertime when those 2027 draft picks are all of a sudden looking real nice, right? And all these rosters are finally built out. But no, I don't think he's going to play for the Raiders again. I just don't see it. So there are a couple teams that are positioned to move for him now.
Here's the thing: they've already spent the money.
Yeah.
That was going to be allocated to him. They've already spent it on other guys because the Raiders have been spending like crazy.
Everybody has.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being the Ravens right now? The winter meetings are in weeks? That's going to be so awkward for everybody walking in there. It's like, hey, we just went out and spent $100 million, and we would have gladly spent 40 of it on Max Crosby, and it's, but yeah, I mean, like now all these teams that were positioned, the Cowboys, maybe the Eagles, a few other teams, like that money's out the door. Like, and you have to have so many factors lined up to get a guy like Max Crosby. You've got to have the draft capital, the cap space, the need at the position.
Right. I mean, the Raiders are counting on getting 2 number 1s from Baltimore. Like that ain't happening now.
No, and I mean, who's like the whole failed physical thing? I think is a smokescreen. Like, there's no way that's, I mean, everybody knew that the guy had a torn meniscus.
Yes.
No, it's like, so you were really like, if you were a team in the running, you knew like he might not be back. But by all reports, like, I mean, it seems like he was going to be back by fall anyway.
Right.
And so and maybe there would have been a slow roll to get him on the field, but holy cow. Like, who's going to do a deal with the Ravens now?
Trey Hendrickson did, apparently.
Yeah, I guess. But what other GMs, are going to like, what other agents are going to be, clamoring for the Ravens to trade for their guy? And then the backswing on this, like, what about Lamar Jackson?
Yep.
I mean, like, what? How does he feel this morning? Like, if, I mean, he's had a hard go with the Ravens. I mean, his last contract extension, that thing was, dragged out forever. And now you're telling me, like,
and the only coach he's ever known is gone.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's like, is he next year? Is he looking at like, man, I wouldn't mind moving. And, like next year's quarterback class, that's a good position for the Ravens to be in to move. Like, that could be a cataclysmic change in the NFL in terms of power dynamics if Lamar wants to move.
Speaking of QBs, looks like the Vikings are in suiting with Kyler Murray. That could happen today. What do we make of that?
That one's never made sense to me. And
we talked about it last week, and then when it first got going, and now it looks like this is happening.
That's the guy they want. It's very clear that's the guy Kevin O'Connell wants, and that's interesting to me. And like nobody knows. Nobody could sit here in March and say it's it's a terrible idea or whatever. But like as a Seahawks fan and somebody who's watched Kyler Murray play at least 2 times a year, for the duration of his career, I don't get it. Like, I just don't get this move. Like, he's had talent in Arizona. It's not like he's been the victim of like circumstance and, bad injury luck. Like, when he's been on the field, he's put up some numbers, but I mean, it's kind of a mirage in a sense, I mean, like he's stacked those up.
Yeah. The last 3 years he's been bad.
In garbage time.
He's not been good.
And I just don't get it. He can't, he's not going to throw over the middle very well. And his scrambling ability is okay, I guess, but he's had weapons in Arizona to work with. Like he's had an okay offensive line occasionally there. I don't get it. I just don't see the vision for I don't see what Kevin O'Connell sees. I mean, I know he's a quarterback whisperer, and maybe he's, like, hey, this is going to work. Or maybe they're looking at it like, hey, he costs $1.3 million to sign.
That's exactly what they're looking at. Yeah.
He's, maybe it's a 1-year deal or a 2-year deal where you throw away a year, on the back end of it, and then you're primed for 2027 with that awesome draft class, or what people say is an awesome draft class, and you can then move on. But, I mean, I guess if the Cardinals are picking up $39 million of his salary, it's a low-risk move, but I just don't see the ceiling on that being very high.
If they're signing Kyler Murray, J.J. McCarthy is done. That's what I think. I think that the writing's on the wall that they're moving on from J.J. That this is not what worked. This did not plan out what we wanted.
Yeah, and I don't like.
I mean, you could have a Sam Darnold situation here again. Yeah. Like what if Murray's great? And then you're the same boat again here. Like, okay, now what do we do in 2027?
And maybe if it is a 2-year, 3-year deal that they sign Murray to, maybe then you use him as you can have him as a tradable asset. Because I don't think McCarthy's going to net you much at this point.
At the moment, no. That's really low.
And so it's like, do you get, I don't even know if you get like a 5th rounder for the guy, at this point. And so it's like, especially with all of the quarterback capital that could be out there at the end of the next season, and if a Lamar Jackson or, somebody like that caliber, that elite echelon of quarterback is like, I want to move, then that's going to, set everybody, I mean, you're going to put blinders on until he's moved. Yeah. And so everybody else in the quarterback market's going to go stagnant. I don't get it. Like, I feel like the Vikings have the right pieces to compete. And this feels like Kyler Murray isn't going to move the needle.
No.
Like, he's not going to turn you into an NFC contender unless
KOC finds something
yeah,
in him.
you know, like, and maybe he will. And I mean, who am I to say that he can't do it?
Geno Smith is back in New York.
How do you feel about that?
I don't know how I feel about it, honestly.
Yeah.
I saw the news yesterday. I'm like, they traded for Geno. The Jets obviously drafted him out of West Virginia in 2014, I want to say. And there's another quarterback that they just totally mismanaged and didn't know what to do. I think Todd Bowles was our coach then.
I don't think a lot of people know what to do with Geno Smith.
I mean, he thrived, obviously, in Seattle. Like, that was when that...
I think that was because of Pete Carroll.
I totally agree with that.
Geno Smith has...
we didn't see that last year, though, with the Raiders. So.
No, but he's had maturity issues for the duration of his career. And Pete Carroll did a really good job of keeping him calm. Like, there would be, like, you'd see sideline shots of him going like this constantly. He'd go, like, hey, bring it in. You know, like, and he was able to, like, speak Geno, you know, and that worked, you know, and then his last year in Seattle, though, Mike McDonald was there and didn't have the patience for it, as we saw yesterday with Tariq Woolen moving to Philadelphia.
Yeah, right.
You know, like he doesn't like those loud personality guys.
Obviously,
or those guys
that happened in the NFC
wrangle.
Championship game. What happened with Tariq Woolen? Yeah.
Right. Like, everybody talks about how the Rams are so darn close to beating the Seahawks, and they forget Seattle was up 11 in the fourth quarter, getting the ball back, and Tariq Woolen. You know, personal foul as on fourth down as they were heading off the field, and then the next
play, Rams on the field.
The next play, Tariq Woolen whiffs it on Puka Nacua,
scored a touchdown
pass, and Puka scores, and that's why the game was so close. It was like the Seahawks could have been up by like 18 or 14 with like 5 minutes left. Like, it was,
One last thing. Adam Schefter dropping another bomb here today that the NFL is exploring the possibility of playing a game the day before Thanksgiving. The added date of the schedule could come as early as this season on Wednesday, November the 25th. Now, Goodell has already told the Wall Street Journal that the league was considering adding a second game to Black Friday as well, which I don't know when that would be because they have a window because of the old Sports Broadcasting Act of 1960 that they can't play professional football past a certain time. So unless they play at 11 o'clock in the morning.
So it's 3 games on Thanksgiving.
Yes.
A game on Wednesday and then a game on Friday. That's half your slate.
No, 2 games would be on.
That's right. That's half your slate of games. Like, right there, that's half the league playing early on Thanksgiving weekend. I mean, the players are going to hate it, but I mean, who's stopping
cares about
the NFL?
The players, right?
Yeah, like, who's stopping them from doing it? They have no competition on on Black Friday or that Wednesday.
Honestly, Black Friday they've blown Black Friday up. Those are traditionally college football days that now the NFL has gone in and dig there. And you're right, Wednesday is either college basketball, like a Thanksgiving tournament,
in November,
or MACtion, and they will own that. I would anticipate we got to roll here, but I would anticipate both those are streaming games.
Yeah.
Those are not going to network TV.
This feels like Peacock or Amazon
or Netflix or YouTube, one or the other. That's where they're going to go.
And the money's there for it. They'll fork over like $100 million for that one game.
And
like,
if Schefter's reporting this, it's happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The league doesn't send it out as a test balloon. Like, we've got this. It's happening for this fall.
Well, somebody in your family who you're with on Thanksgiving will have the streaming service. So.
Or if
you
not,
don't have to
find it. Yeah, somebody will get it for you. Thanks for coming by as always, bud. We'll talk to you next week. All right, Drew Trafton joining us here in studio each and every Wednesday. We'll break. We got a special Wednesday appearance from our guy Mike McFeely. We'll chat with him. Bison Hoops is going to the NCAA tournament. Bracketology, his favorite conversation, and a bunch more. It's coming up when we return.
Oh, it's Mr. McFeely. I have seen the future, and he was wearing number 5, and I ain't talking about Robbie Grimsley, folks.
Took out the muffins, took out the trail mix, took out the cookies. They stole the monster cookies.
Wow, that's awesome. That is so awesome. Let's do some broadcasting.
All right, here he is, our guy Mike McFeely joins a special Wednesday appearance. We appreciate you being flexible with your schedule to amend that to come in today.
Not going to say anything about the person who bumped me yesterday. He found it within his realm to take a couple shots at me yesterday.
Yes.
I will take the high road like Denny Green. I'll have one hand on the plow and take the high road.
Denny Green reference today was not.
And I'll just leave it at that.
All right.
But it just and I'm showing some pretty good restraint here, by the way.
Yes.
In part because some jackwad old man cut me off in the roundabout over on Main Avenue and 4th Street there, downtown.
I know where you're at.
Yep. You know, when you're in the right lane, you veer off right.
Correct.
Onto 4th Street and kind of go down by the YMCA.
Yep, I know.
By the dike there.
Yep.
Said jackwad old man was in the left lane next to me.
Yeah.
And instead of continuing forward, he cut in front of me and had no idea that I was there.
Good Lord.
Yes.
People,
and so
roundabouts seem like it's beyond people's comprehension in this part of the world. I was just going to say that.
For a bunch of old men, I mean, come on, man.
Figure it out. Figure it out.
It's a circle in the middle of the road. You just drive it,
Just stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane. Yes, the old cliche. I've been told 4 million times in my life to stay in your lane, which I don't do because, kiss my butt.
Yeah.
But in this case, like stay in your lane, old man.
Man. I was not in the NBA lane until you texted me last night that Bam Adebayo had, I think when you texted, like 73.
No, he had 81 when I texted you.
And I'm like,
and
what?
Then he got fouled going to the hoop and got 2 more and scored 83 last night.
What do we make of, because there's some that are going to decry his stat line and get into the foul line.
I haven't paid any attention to the.
He scored 83.
Right, there's people apparently ripping it that
correct.
Like he scored 83 points, but he shot 43 free throws. I'm gonna say, okay.
He shot 22 threes last night too.
But he still scored 83 points in one basketball game.
The Wizards were not great defensively last night.
No, they're terrible.
They are bad.
They are tanking. Worse than our Brooklyn Nets are tanking.
Are they our Nets anymore? Grant's not there.
No, he's not going to be back with them this year.
83 points is. Holy cow, that's ridiculous.
Yes, I know. It reminded me of Eric Peterson at the YMCA back in the
Big E could do that,
dominating
fill it
the
up.
ball. More of a rebounder, banger under the basket, but whatever.
You were at Sioux Falls with me on Sunday. The Bison men's basketball team is heading back to the NCAA tournament.
They
Michael,
are pretty exciting.
Time.
And good for Dave Richmond, the guy who bumped me yesterday. I'll give him a compliment, even though he was ripping me yesterday. Good for him for kind of, and he doesn't like this, and I think this is what he was kind of pissy about yesterday, but he didn't, Dave did not embrace the portal when it first happened.
No.
And he was dead set against it and just like, going nuts. He has adjusted to the new world. Don't know if he likes it, but
I think we know he probably doesn't like it.
But he adjusted to it. And the team he put together this year
really good.
Was the best team in the Summit League from start to finish.
Yep, correct.
And they deserved to win the championship, and they were the best team in the league. And, I mean, good for him.
Yeah.
They're going with 27 victories in 1 year.
Yes.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of wins, is right.
And after they win 3 in the tournament, it's going to be 30 victories.
Ooh. That means they're in the Elite Eight. They're doing that.
Oral Roberts got there, didn't they?
They got the Sweet. No,
was
Sweet
the 8 or
16.
16?
16 they got 16, to. They were close to making the Elite Eight that year,
but
though.
It's. I was thinking about this in the drive over. North Dakota State is. I was digging through like 20 different bracketology things last night.
You finally have decided to get into it.
Well, it's my job.
Now that they're in it.
Yeah. Well, I got to figure out what's going on.
What do you got for us?
I got to carry Kolpak's water on this because he's doing football stuff, writing about the Bison going to be picked to win the league. Apparently,
win the Mountain West. Yes.
But
so what are the various bracketologists saying?
It looks like the consensus is NDSU will be a 14 seed.
Okay.
Which, when I was in Sioux Falls, I did chat briefly with Dave, and he was kind of on that vibe.
Yeah.
That they were on a lot of 13 lines until they got boat raced by St. Thomas in the penultimate game of the regular season, and that maybe bumped them down to the 14 line. But, I mean, I'm seeing anything from Joe Lenardi, who I don't know. I can tell you this. Did you know that there's somebody out there who ranks the bracketologists?
Yes. No, I didn't.
And so there's some outfit that ranks the bracketologists.
Who's
and
number one?
The number one bracketologist in the world
is
Bracket Dom.
That's not me.
I have like just some guy. I don't know who he is, but he's apparently ranked as the number one bracketologist.
Well, good for him.
Bracket Dom has
Where's the
NDSU
Bison?
at 14.
Okay.
He doesn't get into like where he sends them
sites?
yet.
Okay.
He just has them
just the seed
ranked
line
as a 14
Okay.
seed. So if Bracket Dom says it,
Got to be right.
you got to
then.
get this guy in your program, by the way, like Bizarro Hot Mic. Dom talking to himself, which
happens
is a lot. Yeah.
Happens all the time.
Having been in
Yep.
talk radio for a lot of years, there's a lot of days when you're talking to yourself.
That's exactly right.
And nobody else. But yeah, so 14
Okay.
seed. I'm seeing the Bison going anywhere from Portland to play Gonzaga or Iowa State.
I
in
watched Gonzaga
Portland.
last night. That might be a tough matchup.
I think all of
there.
them are going to be tough matchups.
Iowa State is what Lenardi has in that
Iowa
game
State
in St. Louis.
In St. Louis, I saw somebody has them playing Iowa State in Tampa, which doesn't make any sense to me.
Tampa.
But I wouldn't complain
Yeah,
about
I was
it.
going to say.
If my bosses decide to send me to cover the game, I'm not going to complain about going to Tampa.
Can they win a game? I know it's all about matchups. You're going to tell me
that's
what you're going to say.
But the percentage would be a 2% or less chance they're going to win that
when
game.
They won a game as a 12 seed when they were in 2014 when they beat Oklahoma.
But that was on the 12-5, which has a history of upsets.
Yes.
And the other part of that was
4-13 does too.
it was an extremely veteran,
very senior
talented
team. Yes.
NDSU team against an Oklahoma team that was talented,
Buddy Hield was on the
but
team,
young.
right? Yeah.
And Buddy Hield was a true freshman, I believe.
right? Yeah,
I want to
on
say.
that team.
And so everything's got to work out
All
just
matchup.
right. It's
Yep.
all matchups and teams and all of those things. It's just going to be really difficult. But it doesn't matter.
No, you're in
and
there.
And this is where I was going before I got sidetracked by 30 other things was
with Bracket Dom.
Yeah, Bracket Dom. The people who were opposed to NDSU going FBS were like, "Oh, we can't win a national championship," and I'm hearing that from other markets. Well, they can't win a national. The best they can hope for. But you know what? North Dakota State, with all due respect to Dave Richmond, is never going to win a national championship in men's basketball.
Nope.
They are never going to win a national championship in women's basketball.
No.
But the crowning moment was what happened in Sioux Falls on Sunday night.
Yep.
And then you go to the tournament hoping, what if?
Yep.
What if we can beat that team like in 2014 that beat Oklahoma and had President Obama talking about him and were the national story that night.
Yep.
And so you hope for the same thing in football. Whenever NDSU gets eligible for the playoffs, and apparently they're going to run roughshod through the Mountain West this year.
We'll get to that.
According to the prognosticators, which I don't understand, but that's what you hope for, is you hope to win the Mountain West. You hope to be in the discussion for a college football playoff berth, just like James Madison and Boise State have been the last couple of years. And then you go and you take your shot. Your chances of winning that matchup, because you're going to be the last seed in the tournament,
aren't going to be great.
But it's not going to be great at all.
But you're in it.
And who knows? Maybe the other team turns it over.
Bad day. Yeah.
5 times. And you return a punt for a touchdown, and you... No, forget it. That didn't work out well.
Yeah, scratch that.
I will never let that die.
I know.
Never.
Email comes before we go to break. Dom and Mike, what are the chances the Bison women get an at-large bid? Doesn't look good right now. Yeah.
0. But they will. It sounds like they have a good chance of not a good chance. They will get an invitation to this.
The WBIT. So, and we'll ask more. We have Todd Phelps coming on this. But from what we know on it, if they are one of the last 4 out, they will be the top 4 seed in that event, which means they're guaranteed to host. If they win as many games as possible.
We'll see if they're going to be one of the last 4 out, though.
Correct.
I thought I saw one bracket the other day that said they're now the second 4 out.
Second 4 out?
But it's all speculation.
But point matter is, to answer the emailer's question, it doesn't look promising that they're going to, at 28-4, they're going to get left out of the NCAA tournament.
It'll be 0. They had to win the tournament.
Yeah, which obviously they did not have their best game on Sunday.
No,
and that's
State. It's a great record. And even I think even if they would have beat, from what I'm hearing from people who know better than I do, even if they would have beat South Dakota State in the regular season and then lost to them, they still would not have. The team, from what I've been told, was told all year, we have to win the tournament, period.
Which, again, goes to get reemphasize how big that deal is in Sioux Falls. You got to do
they're hurt by the Summit League being so
and the league was
god
bad.
awful,
It was really
below
bad.
the top 2.5 teams.
Yes.
Just awful.
Women's basketball is really, really bad. All right, let's break. We come back. Mike was alluding to it. We talked about it at the end of the show yesterday about the apparently prognosticators have the Bison football team running through the Mountain West Conference. We'll get Mike's thoughts on the schedule. We'll do that. We wrap up the first hour right after this. Welcome back, everybody. Todd Phelps will join us about 10:35, NDSU's deputy AD. On the Bison football schedule, Michael, which is now completed, and there it is.
Since I'm crabby already this morning from the guy cutting me off in the roundabout, the jackwad, the old man jackwad. I don't know what percentage of people are doing this, but at least a couple Bison type fans are complaining about the schedule. I like the home schedule.
Yeah.
I don't, and then of course these other numbskulls from other markets are, because apparently they don't want to. There's not enough to talk about in South Dakota, so old Zach has to take shots at NDSU. But like, what did you want them to do?
Right.
In 3 weeks' time?
Right. In 27 days.
Yes.
Right.
A month, 5 weeks ago. NDSU was still in FCS, looking forward to playing Austin P.
An incarnate word to open the year.
Yes, in front of 7,000 people at the Dome and playing Austin P. Right. And so in 3 weeks, your upcoming guest, again with the cauliflower ear, working the phones, put together a schedule, and he had help with the league and everybody, which is pretty good.
Absolutely.
It's good.
Jacksonville State.
They're playing 11
Yes.
And again, this is not directed at the Bison fans at large, but just the handful who gripe about everything. We can never play any FBS games.
Oh, my God.
You have 11 FBS games on the schedule now.
Yes.
There, I got that off my chest.
Jacksonville State, the opener, Michael, week 0 game, and they obviously graduated up from the FCS.
Pretty good.
Yes, who's won 9 games in Conference USA.
They're not going to get Nebraska to come here. They're not going to get Oklahoma or Penn State to come here.
Penn State.
I mean, it just, how come we're not playing Notre Dame?
Yeah.
It's Phelps. How come you couldn't schedule Notre Dame?
USC.
I thought we were going FBS.
Yes.
Jacksonville State's pretty good. People know them.
Yep.
They've been successful in FBS.
Actually, it's been pretty good transition for them.
They've won 9 games a couple of times, I think.
And they're going, and then they'll go to Jacksonville State in 2029. So those are home and home. As
I wrote about this for 6 years, and you and I talked about it, one of the reasons why I had soured on FCS was because teams like Jacksonville State had left.
Yes.
And they weren't a powerhouse, but they were a consistent playoff team.
Yep.
And they had a good history in football, and they funded it okay.
Invested in football.
And they cared about it.
Yes.
It's in Alabama.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good football state there.
Yep.
And they got, SEC drop downs and all this other stuff.
Right.
And so they're going to be pretty good.
Yep. It makes for a pretty darn good opener, man.
And hopefully people are excited about it.
It's going to be a night. It's going to be crazy for the opener.
You hope so.
Yeah.
But you don't know.
You'd think
Who knows?
so. The Mountain West opener is at Air Force. That is not easing into the league by any stretch of the imagination.
We don't know what Air Force is going to be like. They had a down year last year.
Last 2 years, they've not actually been very good.
Yep, with Troy Calhoun, the longtime veteran coach. But they do, you were talking with Paul Sek yesterday, they run some option stuff, and it's just a different, it's one of the academies, so it's not your usual college experience. But they've historically been good.
Yep.
And they'll be disciplined.
There's no doubt about that. No doubt.
They'll be grown men.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that'll be a good challenge.
Wyoming is homecoming on October the 3rd, and obviously the game at UNLV October the 10th. Nevada here on the 17th. What is there anything that pops off to you when you look at it? Like, boy, that one. All of them are
sure.
Good,
but Jacksonville State's going to be fun. The first FBS game against a recognizable quality opponent.
I would put that at night, everybody. By the way,
Fordham is whatever.
Yep.
They had to do what they had to do to get a game.
An FCS game.
Air Force. Very exciting to play that for your first Mountain West game, in my view.
Sac State, you're excited about, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I mean, for a columnist.
Yeah. Oh.
I mean, forget about the football side of it. For a columnist, I can't wait for my sit down with Luke Wood. It's going to be fantastic. And by the way, I'm on record as saying good for Sacramento State. Good for them.
We talked about that last week. Yep.
Wyoming, that speaks for itself.
Yes.
The Craig Bowl. That's homecoming. That's going to be a packed house. That's going to be exciting. Yep. At UNLV, that's going to be the team that's going to be chosen to pick the Mountain West, to win the Mountain West, rather.
As they should be.
Nevada, Jeff Choate's going to be a fun storyline. Yep. Having his story, he's coaching for his job this year.
Yes, they have to win.
At New Mexico, they're going to be good.
Eck will rematch there. Yep. That'll be fun.
Eck will hopefully be active on social media again. Hopefully, Paulsek doesn't say they're going to be highly motivated to win that game. UTEP
for
at
Halloween.
Home, whatever. We'll see. Yep. It's all new. At Hawaii, that speaks for itself.
The bye going into Hawaii, by the way, as well.
Yes, which I think is okay from a football standpoint.
Yep.
Northern Illinois sounds like they want to have some kind of rivalry with NDSU.
Yep.
I ran into Paulsek down in Sioux Falls. He mentioned that they want some kind of rivalry.
Okay.
I think you mentioned that on your show yesterday as well.
He did.
So we have to come up with some sort of rivalry thing. We have to start insulting Northern Illinois.
DeKalb, we got to get on them.
The roundabouts in DeKalb suck. What a bunch of hayseeds. I felt like I was driving in DeKalb this morning when that guy cut me off.
There you go.
At San Jose State.
So they get to play everybody in the league.
Yeah, they play everybody in the league. San Jose is a nice town. Been there one time, spent a little bit of time there in neighboring Santa Clara, but was in San Jose plenty.
It's another football program that's really struggled over the last handful of years. So we'll see what
San Jose State. Just Tim Miles has been out there for a few years, and that's
an athletic program.
They're struggling with NIL. They're kind of struggling with the new world, and it's California and San Jose is a different vibe than other places.
So that's it. Those are the 12 that the Bison will play.
Good for them. Congratulations to North Dakota State. Good for them. This is where people are going to have to put their money where their mouth is.
Yepper.
And if it does, if there's 15,000 for Jacksonville State,
look out.
Then it's like, wow,
nope,
okay,
right.
I'm going to go crawl under a rock in DeKalb and never leave there, because if you can't get excited
for that, right,
about the teams in the schedule now, because all I heard for 5 or 6 years was, the games are so boring. They win every game by 30 points. There's like one game a year that is exciting. Okay, so here's your chance.
Yep, exactly right.
Here's your chance.
Great stuff as always, bud. We'll talk next week, all right?
DeKalb sucks.
Here's the rivalry has begun. There it is. Put it out there.
I don't even know where DeKalb is.
It's in northern Illinois. It's north of Chicago.
Well, Sam Getzinger wouldn't know that.
He would not know that. Thanks for coming by, bud. We'll see you next week. We'll take a break. We come back. We'll start our second hour. Get ready for the upcoming State 8 AA basketball tournament. Begins in Bismarck tomorrow. We'll preview that when we start hour 2 of Hot Mike right after this.
This is Hot Mike. On the networks of WDAY. Here's Dom Izzo.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour 2 of Hot Mike, ready to rock and roll. You're looking at the boys 2A basketball bracket. Officially gets going tomorrow out in the capital city. Bismarck and Davies will start things. Each game separated by 2 hours. You'll see them all on WDAY Extra tomorrow. Here's our TV coverage. The girls will be on WDAY 2 beginning at 1. The boys go at 2 on Extra from the Bismarck Event Center. One of the 8 teams on the boys' side, Bismarck Legacy, back for the first time in a couple years, and I have not had our next guest on in forever, so I really appreciate it and big-time me and say, who's this, when I texted him last night. Bismarck Legacy boys basketball coach Jason Horner joins us this morning. The Sabres have a matchup with West Fargo coming up tomorrow night. It's great to see you, bud. Congrats on making it back to state. We were just visiting off air of the drama that is on the final day of the WDA, but you made it through, so congratulations.
You got through it, yes. I was telling you off air too, like it's just when I was a younger coach and how much you looked forward to this tournament. And now that I said, I think the years of the tournament just kind of stack on top of you. And so just getting out of it is, I don't know. When you walk off that floor for the final game, especially when you get to go to state, man, I can't tell you the relief that you feel. and how proud you are of your kids. But yeah, I was joking around, like everybody tells you how much they love the tournament, and I always say the same thing to everybody. I'm glad you like it, because I can tell you 8 guys that are not feeling the same way for 3 days.
Why is it that way? I mean, since I've been covering North Dakota basketball, it's always been that way. Is it just the quality of competition, knowing full well what's at stake? What is the perfect mixture of why it's the way you describe it?
Well, it's the premier event out in the West, I think, every March. And I mean, I would even say, I mean, it's just so entertaining. You got the 2 games going on in the 2 courts. The crowds are unbelievable. Yes. What's at stake is also a big thing of it. And then on top of that, you know, the reality is your season success depends on if you get out of that tournament alive. And I don't think that's fair, because I've seen a lot of teams have great seasons that have a bad weekend or a bad Saturday to go to state. And I've been in there sometimes too, where you feel like you're playing really well and you have a really good team and you're playing your best basketball, and then you just have a clunker at the worst possible time. So you just, all that stuff, man, goes on in your head, and it's 3 days, and the games are, you know, less than 24 hours apart a lot of times. And so you're just trying to get through it, you know.
Sounds a lot like a mid-major, like a summer league basketball tour. You have one bad game, you went at a great season, and it's done, right?
It's over. You saw it, right? With some of the teams in these tournaments, you're like, well, they're out.
Yeah.
Like it's not. Yeah. It's all the things. It's all the things. And so when you can just get out of there, and now you still want to go into the state tournament, obviously to compete, and there's goals and things like that. But this feels more like a reward for the kids and for the team.
That reward is West Fargo, which the Packers had a great year. You saw West Fargo earlier this season. When does the elation leave and like, all right, now we got to prepare for the top team in the East?
Sunday when you start watching film. I kind of sit down and decompress Saturday. I think I came home before the championship games just because I had to get out of that arena. And, you know, and I hadn't seen my wife in 3 days and the kids a lot. So we just came home and grabbed some food and watched the games on TV. And actually probably went for a dog walk at 10 p.m. just to try to calm down and all that stuff. And so you do all that stuff. You wake up Sunday, and actually I had my 2 boys are in travel teams. So I had 6 travel team game tournaments on Sunday to go to and coach 3 of them. And so you start watching film Sunday evening, and now reality sets back in that you have a job yet to do. So getting your team ready for the West Fargo Packers is not an easy job.
The fact you played them, Jace, way back, and can you even use that game in December, or you throw that out?
You can use tendencies, and you can use things like that. You can, you know, how they tried to beat you, they're probably going to try to beat you the same way. They didn't have a player. We didn't have Brody Weigel, things like that. They're playing better. They're really good defensively right now. We're playing way better defensively. So that stuff, I mean, you know, what happened 3 months ago, because kids change week to week, day to day. So you can play great one on Tuesday and not play well on Friday. So what happened 3 months ago, we throw that out. But you kind of just look at players and their tendencies and things like that.
Give us an overview for people that are going to watch your team for the first time tomorrow. What kind of team you bring to the floor?
Oh, well, it all starts with our center, Johnny Rubidoux. It's about 6'8". I think he's an all-stater, Dom. And I think he's a first-team all-stater, to be honest with you. He's averaging 21 and over 9 a game while getting triple teamed every time he catches the basketball, and leads our team in assists. He was a 3-point line to 3-point line player for a few years. And I tell you what, somewhere in January this year, it was against Minot, our first time, and he decided to go down low and stay down low. And we went on a run. We've been 13-3 since. So it starts with him. He's just such a skilled, polished basketball player with a high IQ. And we have guards that are unselfish, guards that understand what their job is to play it through them, but are more than capable of knocking down shots. I feel like we move the basketball really well. We're unselfish. We're always looking for each other. And then we have an underclassman. We have 3 sophomores and that come off the bench. We have a couple of juniors that really contribute and aren't afraid of the moment. So we kind of have a nice blend of everything. We're not overly big outside of Johnny, But I feel like we're athletic. They're coachable and they're intelligent. So it's been a joy watching and just spending every day with these guys, and being a part of watching them grow and accomplish some goals here. So I think people are going to like what they see as far as the effort and things like that. But it's going to be it'll be a fun one on Thursday, that's for sure.
So when Johnny decided to go in the post, is that more a reflection of like, all right, he figuring out like, hey, I'm pretty good down here, that maybe I'm unstoppable, give me the ball, and like he just figured it out?
Yeah. I was thinking about putting some dollar bills down there or something to give him some incentive, or was doing something. But you just have the message for him, and it was going in spurts where he would be doing it, and then and then he would kind of be around the 3-point line. But we were down against Minot that first game, and he went down there and became a force, and willed us to win. And then it happened against Mandan as well, and then you go through the WDA again, and then you're playing like Bismarck. He had 30 on Bismarck. He had 25 on Century. And then in the WDA tournament, teams start taking him away, and now he has 5 assists in a half because he's getting triple teamed and our guards are spacing and diving and things like that. So it's just, he understands that it starts with him. He commands all the attention. If they want to go one-on-one, he's going to score. He's going to draw fouls. And then if they double team, we have guys that know where to present themselves to get the basketball for him. So it's just it's a combination of everything. And it started with him being coachable and figuring it out.
This is your 5th trip to state. I distinctly remember talking to you. You made it for the first time. How big a deal that was. Describe this one and just what makes them each time different of making it to the state tournament.
Well, it's hard.
Yeah.
And people have no idea how hard this is. Yes, 4 teams get to go, but you have 8 teams in that tournament that are quality, with quality basketball coaches, and a lot can happen on that Civic Center floor. I've seen a lot of weird games, and when you're dealing with kids too, it's just the unknown. So the first time we made it, I think we were just happy to be there. We ended up winning a game in the state tournament that year, which was great. But I think the expectations grow a little bit each year when you get there, and I know our kids right now you don't feel this sense of being content right now. So I think they're ready to compete tomorrow.
How much, though, playing regularly in the WDA, does that make state almost easier? The fact you went up against these teams, not to say the East teams are easy, but man, the grind of playing every single night in the WDA, it's got to wear on you too.
Well, it does. Yeah, it's a grind. Yeah, you're playing twice a week for 12 weeks, and so it's the competition, right, and how physical the league has become out here. The East is they're more than capable teams out in play that could play out here. I mean, I think West Fargo, I know Coach Palczewski really well. He's a good friend of mine. So much respect for him. I've told our kids and our staff has said they remind us of a West team as far as how physical they are, how they defend, how they rebound, the core values of his program. It's going to be a physical basketball game tomorrow night. So but we're hoping that what we went through for these 3 months is going to have us prepare for tomorrow.
Now, you've played, I know in that early game, you got the 6 o'clock one. Does that suit you? Like, hey, that's a normal time that we usually play basketball tomorrow?
Well, now that I'm older, I like the early games because it gives me a chance to go to bed. The later the games, the later I'm up. So I don't like being up that.
I hear you.
No, I like the 6 o'clock one. That's perfect. You can kind of come in and get a sense of the tournament atmosphere and soak in a little bit, and enjoy that, and then you can still enjoy a game afterwards, and stuff like that. So I think the 6 o'clock game is the perfect time.
So obviously the event center is fantastic, and it will be packed. I know we were just talking about the WDA, but it seems to me that people flock there. It's the best site for it. What makes it so? The WDA is one thing, but for state, if it's the state A in the old days or the state B coming there, it just, what is it about it that makes it such a, people want to flock and be there for basketball?
I just think the layout and how on top the fans are and how close they are to the floor, how loud it gets in there. I think the lighting, it's the noise, it's the atmosphere, it's having just a short walk to go watch another game so man, I don't know. It's all the things combined, but whatever it is, it's magic. That's for sure.
There's no doubt about it. Looking forward to the games getting going at 2:00 tomorrow. Now with the schedule being a little bit different, you have a chance to play a few more East teams. You like that? Is there a chance for more of that going forward in non-conference, you think, in future years down the road?
Are you asking like the three non-conference teams we have?
For WDA and EDC to maybe play a little bit more.
Yeah, I like playing them. I like seeing what the East has to offer. I like opening up, going out to Fargo or having Fargo come to our place for sure. And I like a lot of the the East coaches as well. So it's good to see those guys, see what teams they have, and then just kind of follow them throughout the year as well. So I'd rather play an East team, I think, than an out-of-state team. That's just my opinion. But it also kind of gives you just kind of a preview of what you need to work on, because the coaches are so good out there that it's an eye-opener of things that you need to get better at that first weekend.
So how odd was it this year to not have Winchesky around in Minot? How different was that?
Well, it's different. it's for sure. I mean, I talk to Dean all the time. He's one of my best friends. And I sure miss him. I don't miss being down 15 to him.
Right.
Yes. All the time. He's a legend, right? Yes. And Jeremy Brandt, I mean, that's a guy that came in and that he's a legend too. Yep. So it's not like there was a drop off by any means as far as that. But it's hard coaching against your friends too, because you're both competitive and things like that. But you also are hopefully mature enough to understand that it's just a game and stuff. But it was definitely different not having him in the West this year.
Tell me about what's going to take for you guys to win tomorrow, and just give me your best coach speak on how you guys going to beat West Fargo to make it to the semifinals.
Well, I'll say what I say every game is that you have to take care of the basketball and you have to rebound the basketball. Mm-hmm. You can't give good teams like West Fargo multiple chances to score. So you have to limit possessions, and you can't have empty possessions. And so that's the big thing, in my opinion. Getting down into details a little bit more, we're going to have to guard the basketball and be physical with their two guards they are legit talents. They have big guys that run the floor hard, that rebound, that are physical, set good screens. They run a lot of stuff through those guards and the posts. We're just going to have to be physical and chest drives and not allow as much dribble penetration as we did the first game. And then we're going to have to try our best to not give second chances like we did the first game. So, I mean, the formula kind of stays the same no matter who you're playing. It's just a little bit different depending on personnel, but you're always trying to do the same thing.
Is tonight a restless night, or you actually get some sleep that you're there? Or is this a sleepless night tonight?
I'll probably fall asleep, but I'll probably wake up pretty early, I think. That's what happened last Thursday. You go to bed and then all of a sudden it's 4:30 and you're wide awake thinking about everything that you probably should have done in practice that week. And so, it's funny because I was talking to my wife. I'm like, we've been through so many of these tournaments, and each one feels, it feels like you're going through it for the first time sometimes, and so you still have the nerves, you still have the juice and all those things. So I think that's a good sign, right? I mean, you still are competitive and have the spirit to go down there and go play. So I'd rather wake up ready to go than not.
Hey, if you're not having all that, it's probably time to get out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's great to see you, bud. Thanks so much for doing this. Good luck tomorrow, okay?
Appreciate you, Dom. Thanks.
Good to see you, man. There he goes. Jason Horner, head coach of the Bismarck Legacy Boys. The Sabres have West Fargo tomorrow at 6. That's part of our all-day coverage on WDAY Extra of the AA tournament in Bismarck. Again, a reminder, the girls' games will start at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Those games are going to be on WDAY 2. The boys' games, exclusive on Extra, starting at 2 o'clock tomorrow. And you can stream everything as well on WDAY Plus. So we look forward to the open day of the AA. Still the State A to me, or the Super A, as we used to call it. But now in year 3 of this 3-class system, it is the 2A tournament. And the Event Center is elite. It's one of my favorite stops. When we've done the show out there, always have a blast, and looking forward to seeing our coverage get going tomorrow from Bismarck. Let's break. We come back. We'll get a few emails in here and catch up on a couple other things happening around the world of sports. Todd Phelps coming up from NDSU at about 10:35. Back on Hot Mic right after this. All right, welcome back, everybody. Thanks to Jason Horner for giving us a few minutes. Again, AA tournament gets going tomorrow in Bismarck. Let's update as free agency is off and rolling in the National Football League. ESPN and the NFL Network both reporting that the Indianapolis Colts and Daniel Jones have come to an agreement. NFL Network reporting it's a 2-year, $100 million contract, the biggest 2-year deal in NFL history for a guy that's coming off an Achilles tear as well. Through 10 weeks last season when the Colts were 8-2, Jones led the NFL in passing yards and ranked top 6 in both completion percentage and yards per attempt. So pretty good gig if you can get it. The Daniel Jones has a big deal now with Indianapolis. So that one we expected. We didn't expect to see him come off, be available to other teams out there. Reading more on the USA Baseball disaster. Again, from The Athletic, before Tuesday's potentially damning the upset to Team Italy, Team USA manager Mark DeRosa said that he believed his team had already advanced to the World Baseball Classic quarterfinals and rested his starters. I can't make it up, man. They thought they were in, and then they got beat. And now they might be out of the tournament. It's just unbelievable set of circumstances that have transpired there. Again, going back to the NFL, Ian Rappaport expects there to be mutual interest between Kyler Murray and the Vikings following his release from the Cardinals. Email came in, was that the guy that proudly, almost as a brag, discussed how he refuses to spend time studying film? That is the same guy. Does that change with KOC? I don't know. He's got to stop throwing the ball to the wrong team. I know that if it's going to be any sort of success. To me, it just signals, I think, that they are ready to move on from J.J. McCarthy. And teams now are willing to cut bait even sooner on quarterbacks, even first-round drafted quarterbacks, sooner than ever. My favorite team has certainly proven that on cutting bait on one Zach Wilson as quickly as they did after just 3 years, and then they drafted another guy. Didn't seem that was going to work out. So, again, they're in the quarterback deal, just from Sam Darnold to then Zach Wilson, and now to the craziness that they find themselves in when it's Geno Smith back at homecoming after 12 years away. That just goes to show you how time is no longer a luxury for NFL coaches and general managers. You got to have your quarterback and be in a position to win. The Vikings feel like they won 9 games last year and have a defense that has positioned them to be very good. And they think if they're just that piece away, then maybe Kyler Murray is that guy. Sets up what's going to be a fascinating training camp and preseason games, all of that. Because Kyler Murray's coming in, he wants to be the guy, going to be the starter. That, to me, is awfully, awfully interesting. Email comes in as well. Congrats to Bison standout Avery Coonan. She was named a finalist for the Becky Hammond Mid-Major Player of the Year Award. She's been on this list since it began. Now one of 5 finalists in the country for this award. Adriana Smith from Maine, Maggie Dugan from Richmond, Brooklyn Meyer from South Dakota State, and Maya Nicastro from Western Illinois are on this list. That is awfully darn impressive. We know the Bison will have at least one more game to play, whether that is in the NCAA basketball tournament next week or in the WBIT, which is also next week. So she has at least one more game in this season to go, but it has been a phenomenal year. Obviously, the Summer League Tournament Championship game aside, where she nearly put up a triple-double, by the way. She had, I think, 12 points, 13 rebounds, and 7 assists in the game against South Dakota State on Sunday. Brooklyn Meyer was great, and I think if anybody took away from that game is Meyer took the Player of the Year award personally, and certainly fans did, as they were chanting MVP at the end of the game when Meyer had the ball and the Jackrabbits were winning, that however you want to slice that up, that they thought Meyer should have earned the Player of the Year distinction in the Summit League and not Coonan. I mean, I voted for Avery. I thought, frankly, it was kind of a slam dunk, and I watched Meyer play. Meyer got the best of Avery in the game in Fargo. Coonan got the best of her in the game in Brookings. I just thought the complete breadth of work, I thought Coonan deserved that honor. And who knows? Meyer got the last laugh. They won the game. They're going to the NCAA tournament. Likely the Bison are not going to be there. And that is, maybe the ultimate payoff. If you're talking about success and wins and all that, then she got the one that mattered the most when it comes down to it. So, but still a really impressive honor there for both of them. Another email, Dom, it looks like the Jets are making a run to the Super Bowl with their new stud quarterback and Geno Smith. Appreciate that. I think we all know where I think the team is going right now. They can't be any worse defensively with a guy that they pegged as to turn them around, who was a great corner when he played for this team. They can't get out of their own way right now. But Geno is back. We'll see. All right, let's break. We come back. We'll chat on how the Bison made their schedule come together and about that Bison women's basketball team. What's ahead for them? Todd Phelps will try and answer those questions when we return on Hot Mic on a Wednesday morning. Back after this on WDAY Extra, KSFL, KMBN, and Inforum.com after this. Welcome back, everybody. Final half hour here of this Wednesday Spectacular. Get you a full update of what we got going on. We got high school section hoops tonight. Looking forward to that here. We'll preview that before we wrap up the show. Well, as we talked about yesterday on the show, we had Tim Polasek here in studio as we went through the Bison football schedule that is now done. The fact that actually the schedule is completed is a work of art, considering that NDSU decided announced they were going FBS on February 9. It's March 11th. And the Bison have a schedule done. Our next guest has been sweating over that. I can't believe he doesn't have a phone attached to his ear permanently. As we welcome back to Hot Mic, NDSU Deputy Athletic Director Todd Phelps joins us here today. I'll just say this flat out: the fact you got this done in whatever 32 days or less than that is unbelievable. That is a heck of a job, my man. That's really good stuff.
No, I appreciate it, Dom. It was. It was a lot of time and energy and a lot of time on the phone and text messages and emails and a lot of help too, which was key. Certainly didn't do this alone. We had a lot of help and support. There were certainly some times over the course of this last month that I wasn't sure what was going to happen or what we were going to be able to put together or what we ultimately might have, but. It came together, and very happy with how it came together and what we're able to do for this 2026 season.
All right, everyone knows how much of a nerd I am on this. So let's start from the beginning. So the announcement is made to the FCS schools on the non-conference. Did they approach you, or did you go to them saying, "Are you interested?" Or is anybody out there? How did that first start?
Well, yeah, as you know, we had a full schedule, and so back in 2020, right around COVID, and right around when a lot of the conference realignment pieces started to come together, we started to put into all of our contracts an NCAA reclassification clause. So basically said, if either school reclassifies to a different NCAA membership division, that the contract could be null and void with no damages, no penalties to either school. So we had that in all of the contracts except for one. The only one we didn't have that in was the Central Arkansas game on the road, because we did that prior to COVID.
Right.
Back when they came up here for that one COVID game, and they came back up here again in either 22 or 23. And so then we owed them that game. So that was the only one that didn't have that clause in it. So at that point, then, to answer your question, yes, it was a matter of, knowing that we wanted to have one FCS game, and there was one that was actually sitting in the spot where we wanted it, and reached out to them first and said, hey, even though this is a home and home, we will pay you a guarantee, to come and just leave that game right where it is. And they opted out. And then then started reaching out to, a number of the other FCS teams that we had on the schedule, and they all opted out.
So after that, then okay, I got a blank slate to work with. Then, right? I don't know. Did that make it easier or harder? That okay, we're working with 0 now going forward.
It made it a little harder because, to be honest, the toughest one was the FCS game.
Yeah,
that was absolutely the biggest challenge. Starting over with a blank slate wasn't bad. From immediately we reached out. Well, again, Dave Brown from Gridiron. You know that name. I've talked about that name. He was really helpful. He immediately looked at the Jacksonville State, San Jose State game because they were supposed to be playing. And obviously San Jose State had the 13 games. So then it was a matter of saying, hey, can we break this game up? San Jose State will come to you as a non-con. We got permission from John in the Mountain West to say, hey, we're going to give you San Jose State as the team that is you're not going to play in your conference schedule. So if you break that game up and you can get Jacksonville State to commit to come, then we were good to go. And to be honest, Dom, both those places, both San Jose State, Jacksonville State, were tremendous in the process, and were willing to give up that game. Jacksonville State was willing to come up here in week 0, and San Jose State was willing to take us on as a non-con as long as we were going there, which worked fine in the schedule. And then from that point, it was filling the FCS game, which was the hardest.
With Jacksonville State, was that also implied, Todd, that you guys would go there? Or was that negotiated as part of the whole process?
Yeah, right off the bat, that was committed to a home and home. I mean, there wasn't any real negotiation with that. They wanted us to come back down there. We agreed, and we're able to find the date in 2029, which worked out fine. And then the other piece was Sac State going to the MAC. That was a huge help.
So with that happening, I'm sure your alarm bells are going off like, okay, there's a game. Like, we just got to find a date, right?
Yeah, there was. And that was a little bit of the tricky piece. Initially, we were having some conversations with Sac State right before they made the move, which did make it easier. But then they had kind of a schedule and they were trying to figure it out. So that made it a little tricky. And there was some moving parts there with Sac State that we might not have played them. We might have had them play somebody, and then somebody was going to come play us. But ultimately, it worked out that we were able to play them and go on the road in that September 19th game, because that originally wasn't slotted for September 19th.
Okay.
But then the Mountain West was able to help us kind of move that around so we could get that done, and then get the return game in 27, which was key because needing the 5 FBS games. At home, we got that now for 27, so that makes life a little easier for 27.
So I mentioned this with Tim yesterday in studio. Normally these are done, and you know better than me, 4, 5, 6 years in advance. You did this in 6 months out. I mean, I know you wouldn't advise us to do this to anybody else, correct?
Oh, you're 100% right. It was, like I told you in the beginning, I mean, there was some nights where, I was, going to bed and I'm like, okay, you know what? I think we are really close. We just need this to happen and this to happen, and we'll be good. And you wake up the next morning and you reach out and you get a phone call of, we decided we're not interested. And everything falls apart and you start from scratch. So there was a lot of that, because there was probably specifically for trying to get that FCS game, there was probably 5 or 6 scenarios that we went through to land where we landed. I mean, and it was, again, you're asking teams to break up. You're asking teams to stop playing somebody they're going to play. And hey, you guys don't play that game. We're going to get you a game over here. You're going to come to us, then they're going to go over there. And then you got to fill the one that the other team that you broke up. So it was moving parts. In some cases, there was 3, 4, 5 teams involved in trying to shuffle the deck. And again, one of those doesn't fall into place and the whole thing falls apart.
Was there a previous relationship? Did you know anybody at Fordham, or how did that come about?
Well, so what Dave Brown did for us was he got where he was really instrumental was he looked at every single game going in that specific week. We knew we wanted it to be on that September 5th date. And so he looked at every single FCS game. And to be honest, Dom, it came down to, in some cases, where there are some very low buyout situations in which somebody could get out of a game fairly easily and then potentially come to us. But our goal, knowing that we're we're orchestrating this whole thing was that, okay, that's great. If Fordham is going to not play Central Connecticut State, then we need to help Central Connecticut State find a game. And we did that. We made sure that everybody remained whole. If some of those schools decided not to take us up on, a game we were able to find, then that was kind of on them.
Yeah.
But, Matt and I wanted to make sure that everybody remained whole and that we weren't leaving somebody in the lurch. It wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. It wasn't perfect. And it was really, really difficult. And a lot of phone calls and a lot of negotiations and a lot of back and forth with a lot of people.
So I have two more questions that I don't know if you can even answer on it. I got a lot of people asking me about the Montana State and Vegas game. There's obviously a large financial consideration to that, Todd. As we sit here on March 11th, 2026, is the intention to play that game still?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, the intention is to play that game. We've had a lot of good conversations with the Mountain West about that. The key piece to that, Dom, is that this isn't, the Montana State game in Vegas is a ESPN events game.
Yep.
Obviously, they are not our media partners any longer. So if we had done this deal, or if we had tried to even do this deal as a current Mountain West partner, we couldn't have done it. But because we did this deal prior to, the Mountain West is, on board with trying to help us, with our media partners play that game next year out in Vegas. So right now, I think we feel really good that we'll be able to do it.
So with that, then you would not play an FCS home game then, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
So now, obviously, I've got Sac State at home, so that's a huge piece right there. And then probably look for another FBS at home. And then, potentially, an FBS on the road.
On the road.
And then, we could start a home and home on the road. We could start another home and home that would start at home.
Okay.
So that's what I'm kind of looking at right now. And I've had some conversations with Dave Brown. I've reached out to a couple places already, looking to start a home and home that isn't matching up quite yet, but already working on 2027 and already had a conversation with Oregon too.
That was my other question we got was about Oregon, and obviously that's sitting there. That was originally scheduled in 2016 for 2020, then got moved obviously to 2028, but they signed as an FCS school. Are they hesitant to do this, or what's your latest conversations with the Ducks?
Yeah, no, I had a conversation last week with Oregon, and as of right now, they're fully on board and planning to honor that game.
Okay.
The only thing that could come up is maybe a shift in date, maybe a shift in year, but they're working through their schedules and what 27, 28, and 29 work or look like. So we're kind of in a holding pattern, and my conversation with them was, let's just keep in communication over the next few months and see how things shake out. But their full intent is to honor that contract and play that game in 28.
Well, I'm sure you saw this. Western Kentucky just got $1.1 million to play Oregon next season. So the going rate, man, you got to jack that up then, right?
Yeah, I had that conversation. That didn't go exactly where I thought it might go. But again, they're open to the conversation. Yeah. I think if we were to move off of the current date, then I think absolutely there could be some change in the finances. If it stays, there's a chance that it just stays what it is.
I want to ask about Bison women's basketball. I know everyone is hoping that NDSU gets an at-large bid. If it doesn't come to fruition, Todd, NDSU has an automatic berth into the WBIT. From what you guys understand, how does that work? Is there a potential that NDSU could play another game at the Shield Center next week?
Yeah, obviously, first and foremost, I'm hoping for Jory and the women that they get an NCAA tournament bid, an at-large bid. I certainly think they deserve it with their body of work this year and how they played, and obviously ran into a really good, as we know, South Dakota State team. So hard-fought game. I'm hoping they get in. To answer your question, yes, they would automatically get into the WBIT. From what we understand, and don't hold me to this, but from what we understand, if you're a first four out of the NCAA tournament, which is where we sit right now, there's a good chance you're a high seed in the WBIT, which certainly could mean then hosting a game, maybe more in the Shield Center for women's basketball, which would, again, you want the NCAA tournament, but if we're hosting some home games and these kids get to keep playing, could be a lot of fun.
Now that's ahead of the previous tournament you guys have been in, the WNIT. You had to pay for that. This one, the NCAA pays the freight, correct on this?
That's correct. So similar to the way the NIT works on the men, the WNIT was, if you want to call it, a pay for play.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we put in finances in order to support that, and that was a lot of fun. The WBIT came about a few years ago, and is run and operated by the NCAA. So then, expenses for the most covered.
Last thing before I let you go, just the attention now that's going to come Sunday when the selection show happens. How different is that, and what do you expect the next few days to be like leading up to next week when the games happen?
Yeah, no, I couldn't be more excited for Dave and the guys and what Dave and the coaching staff were able to do, this year, and piecing together these guys and coming together as quickly as they did, and the cohesive unit and the culture he created around this team was just phenomenal. So really looking forward to Selection Sunday and seeing where we go, and then it'll be a matter of when we're gonna hit the road. Pretty sure we're not obviously going to be in the first four, so it's going to be a Thursday or a Friday tip, and so we'll figure out when we leave and hit the road and where we're going. So it'll be a lot of fun. Looking forward to seeing where we go and watching these guys compete. I think as Travion Carson said in his press conference in Sioux Falls, they don't fear anybody. So we'll see.
This was really good, Bud. Thanks for pulling the curtain back on scheduling, because everybody wanted to know on that. And I know we'll be talking about it again soon because 2027 stuff is underway. So thanks for doing this morning. I appreciate it.
Yep, anytime, Dom. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Todd Phelps joining us, NDSU's Deputy Athletic Director, the man charged of scheduling for the football team. And you saw it there, and now the work is underway. But for those wondering on the Vegas game in 27, it certainly sounds like that's going to happen. And the Bison will still get another FBS game here as well. On top of Sac State's coming here, there's going to be another FBS team that's coming to the Fargo Dome in the fall of 2027. So you got that. We'll see on Oregon. My gut tells me that it's probably moving, but you never know. Because right now, the Bison only get about $675,000 for that game. They want that doubled. And if that means moving it down the road, I think they take that trade. We'll see. We'll take our final break. We come back. We'll get you ready. We got a loaded Sports Wednesday. The girls' state basketball tournament underway in Minnesota. We got section semifinals happening in Minnesota tonight on the boys' side. We'll preview that when we wrap up the show after this. All right, wrapping things up here on a busy Wednesday show. Tomorrow, we'll check in with our guy Sam Getzinger out in Bismarck as he gets ready to call the AA tournament on the boys' side. Jordy Collins expected to join us as well, North Dakota State women's basketball head coach, Bison women again, waiting to see what happens on Selection Sundays. We just visited with Todd Phelps that they are fully hoping that they get the call and make it into the field of 68. And if not, they know they have another game to play in the WBIT. So we'll check in with Jory on that coming up on the show tomorrow. So looking forward to a busy day there as just part of a crazy week of everything happening. Mentioned already, and you see on our ticker, the Minnesota State girls basketball tournament officially tipping off today down in the Twin Cities. It's interesting because for section championship games or semifinals on the boys' side, which we're going to televise tonight on WDAY2 and on WDAY Plus, there is the break because next week, the University of Minnesota, they're anticipating the Gopher women are going to be hosting in the NCAA basketball tournament, which meant the boys' state tournament is now 2 weeks from now. So it adds for a little bit of I don't know, drama is not the right word, but it certainly throws off scheduling where teams that win section championships on Thursday, on Friday of this week, now will have a full 10 days off before they play again. Pelican Rapids, I remember, I think it was last year, Pelican won the 8AA championship and had maybe like 24 hours to celebrate because then they had to turn around and play down at the state tournament on Tuesday, which seemed completely crazy because of the availability of Target Center and Williams Arena. So now they figure, well, they've got more time to do that, at least with 10 days off. We'll see. Let's do some What to Watch before we get out of here. What to Watch brought to us by our friends at Northwestern Mutual. Okay, we got 2 games tonight. I'll be on the call over at Concordia Memorial Auditorium for the 8AA semifinals. It starts with East Side and Perham at 6 o'clock, followed by Staples, Motley, and Osakis. The Silver Streaks are coming. That about 7:45, 8 o'clock tonight from Concordia. You can see those games on WDAY2, also on WDAY+. Also going on tonight, another late night for you Wolves fans, 9:30 against the Clippers on FanDuel Sports North for that one. The Gopher men open the Big Ten tournament today against Rutgers at 8 o'clock on the Big Ten Network. And the Big Sky Auto Bid, Idaho and Montana, 10:30 on ESPN2. Our thanks to Todd Phelps for joining us, to Jason Horner, to Mike McFeely, and to Drew Trafton. Missed any of the show, you can podcast it later today at Inforum.com. You can watch a full replay on WDAY+. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. We'll see you back here tomorrow.